In this video, I'll show some new routing options in Analog Office 2008, and these are new options for controlling how and where vias are added when routing INETs. So I'm going to start with this example schematic. This has 4 NMOS devices from our generic GenBIC kit, which is a silicon style kit. Here's the layout, just the 4 devices kind of spaced out. And I'm going to change my grid spacing here. And I'm going to add a route between the bottom 2 devices, and I'm going to kind of meander it around a little bit. Put this on metal 2 with 1 micron width. And I'm going to meander it up, and then I'll add another connection between the top 2 devices. So I'll double click to finish here. And I'm going to make this connection on metal 3. And we'll see where the vias are added. Now you can see when I drew the bottom connection, vias are added here at the pins. If I zoom in, you can see that. And if I go to the 3D view, you can see it a little better. So here's the first route I drew, and the connections were made between the drain pins of the devices. And then for the second connection, vias were automatically added again at the drain pins, and then also at every crossover of the first route with the second route. And this has been the behavior for all previous versions of Analog Office, and there hasn't really been a way to control that. You've been able to individually disable vias, but that's been kind of labor intensive and not really as much control as we'd like. So in the latest version, AWR 2008, we have some other options. If I go to the shape properties for this net and go to the INET tab, there's an attribute called via mode, and the default is full, which is the previous behavior. And there's 2 new options, minimal and manual. So if I change to minimal mode and click OK, now you can see that one of these 2 vias between the 2 nets has disappeared. So what minimal does is it adds the minimal amount of vias that you need to be still be LVS correct. So why would you want an option like that? One place is in maybe a custom spiral style layout, Bowen. So here's an example of one where I've drawn a custom spiral layout that's just made up of 2 INET routes, one for the turns and one for the underpass. So you can see in the 3D view, I have the turns on metal 4 and the underpass on metal 3, but because the vias are drawing in full mode, full via connectivity, then it's shorting out the turns, which is definitely not what we want. So if I go back to the INET options, or the shape properties for this one, sorry, and then to the INET tab, I'll change this to a minimal via connection. Then I only get the connections at the endpoints, which is where I want them. So at this point, this could be extracted with one of the many EM simulators we have in our EM socket, i3D, Sonnet, Axiom, EMSite. And then you could use that as the model for this spiral. So going back to our NMOS layout, the third option, the minimal connection, I'm going to delete that net. I'm going to change to minimal. Shape properties, sorry, manual mode. Now manual mode, the user has to add each via individually on his own before the layout is LVS correct. And this is a little dangerous because it is not going to be LVS clean, and so it will be an open circuit until the user adds these vias. So we can see in the 3D view, the metal's just floating. And so the way we add these new vias are some new commands. New commands in the right-click menu for a net that is manual mode. There's a command for add via, and then as we're doing that, we see an X that's showing where the via is going to be dropped. You can see it's constrained to the route we selected. So double-click to add a via to the drain there, and then at the 3D view, there it is. And so again, now you can see in the right-click that I've set the hotkey for add via to be A, so I can just select this route and choose the A key and drop it down. And there's some additional options. once you have a manual mode, I can shift right click to select just that via, and then I can right click and choose move via, so I can move this around. And I can also shift right click and say delete via. So this gives me complete control over where my views are going to be. So it's pretty easy once you add the hotkey to just hit the A key and just add them in very quickly. And of course, like any via that's added either through the automatic full or minimal modes, I can double click on a via and stretch it out, customize it. But with this mode, then I have complete control exactly where those views are going to be added, as you can see in the 3D view.